Hey, and welcome into this next video in this free series here on stepstovoiceoversuccess.com. I want to congratulate you for making it this far, and there is so much more that we have to cover. What I'm going to be covering in this video is probably one of the toughest things it is for voice actors to do, and that is to sound naturally. And when I thought about what I wanted to talk about as far as script interpretation goes, I wanted to deal with that thing that just people seem to struggle with over and over again. You know, people want the natural read. You're seeing a lot of this in the different auditions that you're doing. They don't want the announcery style. They don't want the radio station stuff and all that kind of, they want a guy or gal next door type of read. And this happens more and more and more. So it's the hardest thing that I've seen voice actors try and deal with. So I wanted to tackle this right up front when it comes down to script interpretation. And it's so funny because when we get, some of us, when we get behind these microphones, we try and sound like a voice actor. We try and do some things that we wouldn't normally do when we speak naturally. It's like when you're listening to me talk right now, this is not me putting on an act. This is just Earl being Earl and Earl talking how Earl talks. And for whatever reason, when so many people that when we get behind a microphone, we try and sound like something other than what we are. And that comes into play because sometimes it could be a self-confidence thing. It could be you don't have, the self-awareness to know that you're perfect the way that you are. You have a certain style of speaking and you want to bank on that. You want to take the uniqueness of how it is that you speak and allow that to be heard, because so many times people are looking for a unique style of voice. And when you try and, what so many voice actors do wrongly, you try and sound like a voice actor, or you try and sound like someone else that you've heard that you like how they sound. This is the worst thing that you can do, because no one is ever going to beat you being you. So let's dive into some of these things that I've written down here that I want to make sure that I cover in this particular video that hopefully is going to help you do better, especially at the natural read when you're trying to do auditions for natural reads. All right, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to take your script and you just want to open up your DAW and start recording. Just start recording. Read the script a couple times. Get a feel for the words that are in the script. Get a feel for what's coming next, because you don't want to sound like you're reading. And the more that you know what's on the page, the more natural it is that you're going to sound. You're not going to sound like you're reading. And that's one of the things that happens a lot too. When I listen to different people's auditions, they sound like they're just reading off a page. They don't sound natural. They sound like they're reading. And that is probably one of the worst things that can happen. So you want to record yourself a few times, excuse me there. And then you want to start taking a look closer at the script. Who is the audience for this? Who is this voiceover for? Whether it's selling a product or service or an event or something like that. Who is the audience for this? Is it a younger audience, teen, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 80s? Who's the audience for? And when you start getting an understanding of who the audience is for, it's going to help you also in interpreting that script appropriately. Once you figure out who that audience is, and here's one of the main things. Actually, let me come back to that. I'll get back to that audience thing. But when you're looking at the script, what's the tone? What's the feeling of the script? Is it an angry script? Is it a happy script? Is it a sad script? Is it a scared script? What is the emotion that is in that script that you can determine from reading the script? What is that emotion that this script is looking to draw out in the person that's going to hear it? Because that's going to dictate too how it is that natural read comes out. And what you want to do when you have that script down in regards to, the words that are in the script, and I'm not talking about memorizing, but you kind of know the flow of the script and you understand the emotion behind the script. Now take a look at what you feel about the script. How does the script make you feel? What is it? You know the intention of the script because you've read it a couple times. You know what's trying to be conveyed. but how is that making you feel? And this is where we're getting into some of the important stuff here. How does this script make you feel? Because what's going to happen is when you start developing that feeling behind what the script is, now what I want you to do is imagine you're simply having a conversation with your mom, your dad, your best friend, your wife, one of your kids, whoever. You want to create an avatar behind this, because one of the things that is missing so many times is that when we're auditioning, we're thinking we're talking to thousands or millions of people that are going to hear this, and that may be true, but you're only talking to one person. You're only talking to one person, that avatar that you've created, whether it's in your mom, your dad, your best friend, whoever. You've created this avatar of one person that you're talking to, that you're trying to convey this emotion to. It's not a huge audience. It's one person. Now, when you think about that script and the emotions that are supposed to be in that script, and also the emotions that have been elicited in you through reading the script, talk to that avatar. Have a conversation with that avatar, feeling the emotions that you would normally feel. That's it. Is it a happy script? Well, talk to them like you're happy. Don't act like you're happy. Be happy. Don't act like you're sad. Put yourself in the sad state so that you can read the script appropriately to that avatar. How do you convey your feelings? Whether it's in happiness, sadness, anger, excitement, whatever the feeling is, you're talking to that person in a manner that you've talked to them several thousand times before, if not millions. And that's how you do a natural read. You do it from the perspective of how you would naturally talk. So when you did those initial recordings just to get a feel for the script, maybe you even tried to do one that was real. I don't know. But now go back and do a couple of more reads, trying to put into play all the things that I've just explained to you on how to do a natural read. The most important, I think, in all of this is that you've got to be authentically who you are in the moment. That's it. You have to express it the way that you would express it to the person that you're talking to in the moment, the way that you would naturally do it. And don't be afraid of the outcome, because it's just natural. You're not trying to sound like anyone else but you. And again, this is probably the hardest thing that people try and get down, that they fail at, because they're trying to sound like someone else, or they're trying to sound what they would consider better than how they normally sound. It's not about that. No one will ever beat you being you. Ever. And the way that you will authentically do an audition or a read for anyone is just by giving them 100% of who it is that you are, especially when we're talking about a natural read. Now, if we're talking about a character, or if we're talking about a promo spot, obviously there's some differences that go into that. But when you're trying to do the toughest job in the world, it's seemingly the toughest job in the world, which is just to be naturally who you are, it's the thing that people struggle with the most. And so what you need to get an understanding of, it is not about changing who you are when you get behind the mic. It is not about trying to sound like a voice actor. It's about you sounding like you in the moment. So I hope this helps. I'm so proud that you've gotten this far in this training. Obviously, this is the second video in this section, so you got a test that's coming up. And as soon as you take that test, you'll be able to go on to the next section, and I'm looking forward to see you there. So after you take the test, I'll see you on the next video. By the way, leave me your comments below. What is it that you're struggling with as far as script interpretation goes, as far as the different style of reads? What other information would you like me to provide for you? And I'll see about doing that. All right, guys, thanks so much. See you on the next video.